Hi, everybody. I'm Reverend Janine Schenone, coming to you from Good Samaritan Episcopal Church in the University City neighborhood of San Diego on this lovely rainy morning. And I am presenting to you a plan that is the work of 21 people throughout our diocese, all ages, all backgrounds, all geographic locations. We prayed, we dreamed, we worked, and we have come up with this plan that we hope you will dive in and help us to make real. This has been a strange year. And as you heard from the bishop, there's an important distinction to make between change and transformation. Change is what happens to us, all the various things that can occur, such as viruses. And transformation is how we respond inside. Change is inevitable, but transformation, we believe, is a gift of the Holy Spirit. Who thought that we would be preaching to empty pews and cameras in March? But that is what has happened, and we learned how to transform what it meant to gather as a people. So how do we accept the gift of transformation? The first thing we need to do when we are making plans is to see things as they really are, to look at the facts of the situation. And then we need to acknowledge what needs to change. Then we basically look at what our unique assets and spiritual and worldly gifts are, and how we might be able to use them to build God's kingdom. And then we use this process and everything that follows from it to focus all of our efforts and all of our desires on a joint mission that's going to invite the broadest and most diverse participation possible throughout all the communities of our diocese. And of course, we need to pray for God's inspiration and guidance along this way. One of the things that is happening, first of all, we should tell you that we looked at the current state of things, both in the United States, in the church, in the Episcopal Church, and in our geographic region of the San Diego Diocese. And as you have probably heard, we are experiencing a change in how generations respond to a religion, and in particular Christianity in the United States. As you can see in the so-called silent generation, 84% identified or identifies as Christian, when only 10% unaffiliated. In the baby boomer generation, 76%, Gen X, 67%, millennials, 49%. So what we see is that as we proceed to the generations, fewer and fewer people identify as Christian. And this also means that the influence of the church as a societal force is also declining. What that means, of course, is more people to evangelize. We also looked at the age structure of the United States versus what we see participating in the Episcopal Church. And you will see that in some generations, we have a pretty close match. For example, median adults, 35 to 49 years old. Our age structure matches that of the United States pretty closely, pretty close for middle agers as well. But among children and young adults, we do not reflect the makeup of the United States. And as we all know from looking at our pews, we have more seniors of 65 and over than are in the population of the US. In addition, our Sunday attendance and membership are down, as they are down for pretty much every other Christian denomination. So that's something else we looked at. We have unique challenges in our diocese. There are some financially distressed churches, although as Bishop Susan pointed out in her address, we are doing a lot to help make churches more financially sound and spiritually sound. There is some decline in financial giving, although we have many churches still continuing with high levels of giving. We also have an issue of the cost of living in our area. If you note from this graphic that we are second only to the city of San Francisco in California for the median price of housing. and that's going up. And there are also challenges in providing, and that makes it hard for us to call clergy to the area. It also makes it hard for young families to stay here. Can also be hard for us to provide a benefits package to employees. But here's the thing, we are rich in so many ways. We have so many assets of all types to share with our neighbors. We have a large and growing Asian population of all ages in many areas of our diocese, and it will continue to grow. We also have a large and growing Latinx population of all ages throughout our diocese, and we define Latinx as people who came from countries whose majority language is Spanish, whether they themselves speak Spanish at home or not. We have so many military bases, from Yuma to the east, to Coronado, to our furthest point west, Pendleton to the north, to South San Diego, to the south. We employ and house so many military families who need good news, who experience family separation, and who need to know that they are welcome in our church homes. There are 36 college students at UC San Diego, literally outside that window. There are 34,000 college students at SDSU. We have tens of thousands more college students at community college and private universities across our diocese. We are having population growth in many areas, and that will continue according to demographic trends for some time to come. That population growth is especially true for Latinx families, and this is due to the young age of many American citizens born here, Latinx people born here, who are of childbearing age. You need to know that our strategic plan committee dreamed and prayed a lot about what God wanted to do, and then we started to connect the dots. We came up with this vision for our diocese. As a growing, diverse, worshiping community of Jesus Christ followers, we will courageously share God's transforming love in our neighborhoods and beyond, actually talking to people we don't yet know. Our mission statement: we will connect an ever-growing number of people to God in Jesus through evangelism, discipleship, and service. Oops. And our values. We thought about what things we valued the most, because everything we do has to have those values as their foundation. And we came up with these 5 values. First, diversity of all types: age, ethnic background, geographic location, theological and political beliefs. Transformation, which the bishop spoke of so eloquently previously. Love, courage, and evangelism. These values express what is important to us and what makes us excited. Our first goal is to foster church growth to minister all people through 30 new missional expressions. This would include new churches, offering resources to 20 congregations to do in-culture and in-language worshiping communities for our Latinx and Asian members. It includes beefing up military ministry, campus ministry, all sorts of ministry, probably some we haven't even thought of yet. Our second goal is to make disciples. And what we want to do is to enable churches to help people grow as followers of Jesus through intentional practices, through courses and small groups we can make available, like Renewal Works and Sacred Ground, empowering people and teaching them how to do this. And we want to equip all of us to evangelize, which simply means to tell people the good news. That means we'll actually have to talk about Jesus. Our fourth goal is to serve God's people and to show them Jesus. The success of our Showers of Blessing program, which is happening throughout our diocese now, has shown us that when we come up with a great idea and provide a little bit of resources to people, they will provide the people power, and we will be able to offer comfort, cleanliness, a place to eat and some clothes to people who need some help. It has shown us that we can take a model and replicate it. And so we hope to do that with 3 other types of ideas. But even more important, we want to at the same time show them that it is Jesus himself who makes us want to do this, who makes us love them. And we want to invite them into a relationship with Jesus and to pray for them even as we are serving them. We want to advocate for peace and justice. Recalling the words of the prophet Micah, what does the Lord require of you but to do justice and love kindness and walk humbly with your God? The goal of advocacy seeks to move beyond service, to not only offer people a meal for a day, but to change the systems in society that make it hard for somebody to feed themselves or house themselves. We have a goal around leadership. We hope to recruit and train transformational leaders who will strategize and improvise in this quickly changing church. We want leaders who can speak a variety of language. We want to help people, all people, clergy and lay people, develop their congregations through congregational development plans. Our seventh goal is to celebrate and cherish God's abundance through stewardship of our assets and God's creation. That means caring for God's creation by doing things like installing solar power panels on churches, finding ways we can reduce the carbon footprint of our churches throughout our diocese, and looking at what everybody's spiritual gifts are and how they can be brought to bear on all of these other initiatives we have throughout our diocese. So how are we going to do this? We're going to reorganize our diocesan committees to align with these goals. We're going to regularly monitor the progress and adjust our resources as needed, and we are going to communicate our progress to you and continually invite you into this work. And we're going to manage our diocesan budget and raise the money that we will need to cover what isn't in the budget for approximately $3 million of expenditures over 5 years. We did a lot of dreaming and praying and debating, and now we are really eager to hear how you can help us in this work. How are you going to help us connect those dots?